What's good, everyone? What's good? So, in today's episode, we're actually going to look at why Shake Shack is pretty much stealing. Borrowing ideas from other fast food restaurants. Now, Shake Shack is an incredibly well endowed restaurant. Um, the CEO Myers, Chef Myers, he's got an incredible, extensive background in the food business. Is He should be at the level, obviously, because he had the Michelin star restaurants. He should. I don't know why Shake Shack would be borrowing anything from anybody. You could get influenced, but it's like borrowing is more in lines of like, I'm looking at what you're doing. I like this part of your operations. I'm gonna take it. Shake Shack should be the pioneers of the restaurant space. They should be the ones that's leading others. Other people should be taking or borrowing from Shake Shack. But let's go and see what this whole borrowing situation looks like. I'm very intrigued by this whole thing.
Shake Shack has always made it clear it isn't fast food. Everything is made to order, and that customization means customers have to wait. But as Shake Shack expands, it seems to be taking a lot of ideas from fast food. It's building drive-thrus, adding rest stop locations, and installing ordering kiosks. As Shake Shack tries to compete in spaces traditionally dominated by fast food, it's got to speed up operations.
All right, let's hit the pause right there real quick. Look, I get it. You don't want to be, or in fact, you don't want to have your name synonymous with fast food. I get it. Fast food is a dirty word in the restaurant space. That's why they try to clean it up by saying QSR. We're not a fast food establishment. We're a QSR, quick service restaurant. A lot of these conglomerate companies, all these people, they're trying to break away from titling that will kind of put a strain or unfavorable look on their name and the industry in which they serve. Look, um, Shake Shack is a QSR, just like McDonald's, like Five Guys, like Burger King, like Wendy's. It's all the same industry. I don't know how you could say we're not this when you actually are. You're serving burgers, you're serving fries, it's quickly made. It's incredibly tasteful though. God, I love Shake Shack. It's incredible. Um, but nevertheless, it's made quick, it's packaged, drive-through windows, like you're a QSR. I don't even care.
Because many customers expect to get their food quickly. But this is a major challenge for a company built on a guarantee of fresh cooked meals every time. This is the economics of Shake Shack. Long lines have been part of Shake Shack's DNA from the beginning.
When they first started this pop-up roadside hot dog and restaurant stand in Madison Square Park, there was lines. So it really had this kind of cult vibe around it in New York.
But as Shake Shack continues to expand, it has to speed up.
We want it to be a little more convenient. We want it to be a little more consistent on our speed and our execution.
A big part of this initiative is drive-thru. That's been a major priority for Shake Shack since the pandemic dampened walk-in business in some of its main markets. Shake Shack has opened more than 30 drive-thru locations in the past few years, and it's planning to build about a dozen more this year.
How we doing? All right, take care.
Drive-thrus can be significantly more profitable than dine-in service because customers cycle through the restaurant faster, and they do big business. McDonald's, for instance, does about 70% of its multi-billion-dollar US business from drive-thru.
They can be very efficient. You can do a lot of sales quickly. There's not the expense of maintaining a dining room in the same way. So you really save in certain ways, particularly if you can get the volumes of people who are able to go through your drive-thru at peak.
This has led lots of companies to get into the drive-thru business, and they compete fiercely over wait times. Taco Bell, for instance, has a 4-lane drive-through outside Minneapolis with dedicated pickup points for mobile orders and delivery drivers. Chick-fil-A.
Look, so if they're one of their main ideas or concept is to push through the tickets and to push that line through, the best people doing that kind of stuff right now that they should be looking at. I don't. Oh, look at this right there. I stopped it just on a dot, I guess, but they should be looking at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A everywhere have incredibly long lines. They got 2, 3 lines going. They got people standing outside working the shifts outside, switching them out, but they got it down to a machine. So it's turning over so many people that walk in and drive through. So I think Shake Shack should be really looking at and trying to innovate even better the Chick-fil-A process of putting so many people through
Has used so-called upstream ordering for years, where staff come out with tablets and take orders in person. That avoids a bottleneck of customers waiting to reach the menu board, all to save precious seconds. According to mystery shopper data, Taco Bell and McDonald's drive-thrus had total wait times of about 4 to 7 minutes, which includes the time you're waiting to order, ordering, paying, and then receiving the food. Shake Shack doesn't disclose wait times for its drive-thrus, but it's said on past earning calls that just
real quick, 7 minutes for a Taco Bell is incredibly long. They should actually stay beneath that 4-minute mark because everything is already pre-made and is heated. They got warmers, specialized warmers that keep the ground, if you want to call it ground beef, uh, hot. Everything is cold. That's supposed to be cold. So I'm like, where's that 7 minutes coming from? How can that even be like a window? But to each his own, I guess.
just filling orders typically takes it around 6 to 8 minutes. Decreasing wait time has been a major initiative for the company.
We do a
Made to
couple of
order.
things a little bit differently in our drive-thrus than we do in our restaurants. It's not compromising the cook fresh, but it is really on the technology side.
They start cooking orders as soon as customers place them, rather than waiting until they pay.
Hello, how are we doing today?
Similar to Chick-fil-A,
Exactly, and that's how you keep food fresh when it's when the order is what is called made to order. So as soon as the customer places his or her order, that's when the food is fired off. Um, Nothing early pre-made like what you could typically expect from a Taco Bell, KFC. That's just sitting in these specialized warmers. Everything is fresh, so that's why that 8-minute threshold is a lot more believable. Because I know all the times I order from Shake Shack, I've been waiting about upwards of like 7, 8 minutes, give or take, and I'm not even mad at that because I love the freshness, I love the flavors and everything from the food.
they sometimes send staff to bus orders. Maintaining a premium feel is important to justifying its prices. Shake Shack is middle of the road for a fast casual restaurant, but much more expensive than fast food.
It is a tension that we battle every day between speed and cook to order food. We can't compete on speed because we want to cook our food in a certain way, but we can certainly emphasize our hospitality and certainly delivering on the high quality of the product.
They've also done time motion studies to maximize efficiency in their kitchens.
We've been working on a bunch of different ways of how we're flowing food throughout the kitchen to really optimize and reduce the number of steps that our team members have to take. For example, we used to wash and cut all of our lettuce in-house. We've then transitioned to pre-cut lettuce. So now our team members focus on making sandwiches and not having to sit there in the back of the house and cutting up and washing lettuce all day long.
Shake Shack operates most of its own restaurants, but it's increasingly relying on licensed locations as it expands internationally and to rest stops, stadiums, and airports. That means it selects outside companies to partner with, and those companies pay fees to Shake Shack. That's been a major driver in Shake Shack's rapid expansion.
All right, so licensing, here we go again. A very secured way better than franchising. So Shake Shack have actually taken up the same licensing model as Starbucks. So meaning you can't go to like shakeshack.com franchising, and then poof, there's a whole thing that comes up that talk about the franchise model in which you can buy into. Um, you can't do that. So the people that's taking on Shake Shack, in this case, they're very institutionalized. These are large companies that could pay millions and millions of dollars upfront and kickstart, let's say 20, 30 restaurants to cover that particular city, country, or wherever geographical area they're operating in. They could cover a massive amount of um, land per se with these franchises. They're at the institutional level, so they're dumping, millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars into these particular brands. And you really seen that type of licensing model very, very strong in Starbucks. All right, so just to give you a little comparison for your imagination.
Shake Shack opened its first permanent location in 2004. Its sales
In New
pitch to
York,
customers
Battery Park,
emphasized
I
fresh
believe.
ground, antibiotic-free beef, and it was founded by fine dining leader Danny Meyer, known for his restaurants
Yep,
like 11
Chef
Madison
Meyer.
Park, which gave it cachet. It's now a $4 billion company with over 500 locations around the world. The company says its international locations have also helped it develop new products, particularly limited time offerings.
We learn a lot from our licensed locations. Even our Chicken Shack sandwich was actually born out of the international license business for shacks that did not serve beef. We also had locations that had kind of more of a regional flavor profile, like the Korean fried chicken sandwich that we brought over here.
But operating at this scale with fresh ingredients and a premium experience has challenges.
It's important for them still to be premium and have that vibe. I mean, people are paying more for Shake Shack than they would at Burger King. And so you have to believe that the food's better and the brand's better.
Shake Shack's had to invest significantly.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, from a chef, I know exactly who they got as a food purveyor. It's not even we gotta believe it's better. It is better. This is grass-fed beef that in most cases been aged. This, I'm not even going to disclose their food purveyor, but when I was looking at these different food concepts to start a restaurant with, I strongly was considering their same food purveyor source my proteins from. And I was just surprised to know, like, oh wow, they use this particular food purveyor. Wow, okay. I might have hit the mother load, but they're legit, 100%. Their beef, y'all, is 1,000,000% beyond real. All right, if that's a thing.
And data operations so it doesn't order too much or too little food.
The ability to get a sales forecast very, very tight really sets the tone for how the profitability can be at that location and across your entire fleet. It means that your waste is within control and that you're not selling out of items and you're able to meet guest demand. We're not having to make decisions on a particular menu item, which might have a negative impact. We're literally just getting smarter at our operations.
Shake Shack has ambitious expansion plans, led by its new CEO, who brings experience growing major chains in the quick service restaurant industry. Over Rob Lynch's time at Arby's, first as CMO and then as president, sales grew over 20%. At Papa John's, he helped the company recover from a significant slump and opened hundreds of new restaurants, though the chain has been lagging recently.
It's challenging to take a homespun New York City brand or any brand that's, grew up in a certain geography and push it out nationally. I mean, the company is really...
Look, to have somebody that is well experienced executive as a chief marketing officer to head off your brand, I believe that is a very, very positive and right thing to do. Typically, those that take the CEO reins typically come from the chief operating officer side of the house, not so much marketing officer, but when it comes to restaurants, especially ones that are well thought out, like Shake Shack, that have the cult like following, at that level, it's all about marketing. And you got to be creative with how you reach your consumer base. So kudos for them thinking outside the box, meaning instead of hiring your chief operating officer to be the next CEO, which is most of the time the more logical sense, they reached out to a CMO to become CEO. So that's a new low key twist. I like the way that they're thinking about that, for sure.
Really working now to try to be more efficient, to try to make restaurants run better, and they are having some success. But I think the real focus on Shake Shack now is, can they keep running these restaurants profitably and to continue to grow?
Yeah, it's always a fine stance. You got to be careful. I mean, your the quality of the food, the locations. You're talking about very expensive rents, even at the smallest level, because you're in more premium markets. All of that comes with, especially having, a super purveyor like what they do. So food costs, the lease per square footage, the wage, the everything required to run a restaurant is always going to be at the premium. Hence why they hit you with those premium costs. But in their case in particular, it is, I see where, like, if I was shopping at Shake Shack again, I know where my money is going. Not the average person really doesn't have a full picture of it, but I know where my money is going, and I'm happy where it's going. So they just gotta continue to market themselves like they currently are, and get into more strategic locations, and not be like a McDonald's, or even worse, a Subway. And that's another video and conversation. Like, but yeah. So I know for sure. Come on, Shake Shack. Like, they're 100% good. They're smart. Their entire team is incredible, and they're honestly the best at what they do. Straight up. So yeah, no doubt. So thank y'all. This was a very good video. All right, y'all. Chef Prime out.